Hi, my name is Brandon Truesdell.
And my name is Devlin Bell.
We both have social anxiety, so we thought we'd talk about the different experiences that we've had. Social anxiety happens when everyday interactions cause irrational fear, anxiety, self-consciousness, and embarrassment.
This can last for years, or be a lifelong condition.
Now that we've explained what social anxiety is, let's observe what two socially anxious people would look like talking to each other in the wild. Hi, how's it going?
It's good.
Been up to anything fun?
Well, mainly just work. You know how it is. Well,
I could have
actually,
asked about family. Maybe that's too personal.
Oh God, why did I say that? Why do I keep rambling?
What did she say? Oh man, I'm screwing up, aren't I? Oh man, oh no.
This story, not this one. Why do I always bring up this story?
Do I have something in my teeth? I really should have more to say.
You're not even waiting for his answer.
Am I weird for not having more to say? Does she think I'm weird?
Can I stop talking? Or
what kind of stories can I talk about? How can I edit the conversation?
Wait, maybe he thinks I'm interesting. No, wait, look at his face. No, he's looking interesting.
I hope my fly isn't down.
Why do I do this to myself?
No thoughts, no thoughts, no thoughts, no thoughts, no thoughts. Come on, brain. Let's do this.
Okay, breathe. Is it getting hot in here? Ah!
Wow. Hilarious. Now that we have that out of the way, let's sit these two people down and have a serious and heartfelt conversation about their experiences with social anxiety.
So what I think of social anxiety is that it can make your life more difficult because it makes it harder to make meaningful connections with people, whether it's people that you're trying to have as friends or trying to date. It's harder to have the conversations that you really want to have with people because you can be anxious about expressing yourself. So I think that you can either like overly compensate by talking too much, or you can say nothing at all because you're so anxious, and that doesn't always come across the way that, at least for me, it's like it hasn't always come across the way that I wanted it to in situations. So I feel like people can't really get to know the real me.
I mean, if someone has social anxiety, like, I get it. You don't know what other people's intentions are. You don't know if they're there to help you, hurt you, use you, abuse you. It's really all, like, just talking with someone is just really just a game of can I trust you? And I mean, it just, in my mind, it makes sense that anybody would have anxiety in the first place. Like, there's so many crazy things that could or couldn't happen. And, it's just that dance of figuring out how do I take all of my being and all of someone else's being and just make it work for like 5 minutes.
Social anxiety definitely lowers your self-esteem levels, at least for me personally. I feel like it's really hard to have the correct confidence if you have social anxiety because you don't feel confident in talking to people and you don't feel confident in making those connections with people. So it can lower your self-esteem because you can feel like you're unable to do those things and that you're not worthy of those things.
I wish I knew exactly what caused my issues with social anxiety. It's hard to like specifically dissect it. I think the parent's role in raising their kid makes a huge impact on people, on their kids, and how they interact with other people. And I think I just got a lot of negative judgment from my family, not even just my immediate family, but just surrounding that.
I think that what caused my social anxiety was not having the proper care or support from my parents growing up. I think that I wasn't able to fully express myself or fully express my emotions, and if not express my emotions, just like not express them in the right way. So I think that all of that was built up, which did lead to confidence issues, which then translated to being afraid in social interactions because I just really wanted people. I was just too focused on people judging me, and I wanted everyone to like me at the same time. And I seeked out validation from a lot of people because I felt like I didn't have that validation from my parents in my home life.
That judgment that I had received kind of kept me from being able to properly like process conversations, and it just really kept me from it was almost like information overload to the point where I couldn't think of anything. You know, it was just like so much was happening that I just would blank. And so I really just wouldn't have anything to say. And that's kind of like where my social anxiety comes from, not having enough to say.
Had a weird mix of wanting to be the center of attention and then also just not really wanting to be seen or heard. So when it came to wanting to be the center of attention, I think I always had like what I would call like super energy, where I would be like so hyper and kind of like put on this persona for people because I thought that it was entertaining, and I thought that that's like, and it was some kind of like a mask that I hid behind because I didn't really want people to know like the real me or the issues that I was experiencing, like with my family or my home life, you know. So I think that I kind of like tried to put on a show with people, and that would get them to like me because I was so like silly and funny, and like I just wanted to kind of be like the funny friend there. But with not wanting to communicate and like with feeling like I didn't want to be seen, I think that came from like all of my insecurities and fear of judgment, where I felt like sometimes I would rather just kind of be in the background and be the person that wasn't seen and that I didn't have enough to say.
I've done video production professionally, and so I've done some networking, like a lot of networking for that, and having, I forget the exact acronym, but having things that you can talk about: family, occupation, hobbies. I think there were a couple other, but it doesn't even matter because, you know, even those three things, family, occupation, and hobbies, can open up a ton of different conversation topics. And yeah, just being able to rely on something as simple and powerful as that is really helpful.
So I got my first job immediately after I graduated high school, and I worked at Starbucks. And the first place that I worked was a really busy location that was by the waterfront, downtown Seattle. And it was in the summer, so it was tourist season. And basically I was given like the training that I was given, I was not given like any, like the training was bad. I didn't know how to advocate for myself to get better training. So I was kind of just like thrown into the fire. So my first day I was just thrown in on register, didn't even know how to use the register, had to kind of figure it out myself. And there was a line all the way out the door and like around the block because like all the cruise ships were coming in and stuff with people. And I was really scared, but I kind of just had to push myself and just realize that, you know, like this is just a person in front of me. And like I kind of in a way had a script to just be like, you know, like what would you like? And I think that it like really like pushed me out of my comfort zone completely to do that. But I think that honestly, like being thrown in the fire like that was probably the best thing that could have happened to me, because it made me realize that I was able to handle that when I thought that I could never handle that.
There are definitely people out there who are on your side when it comes to a conversation. So if you legit are just blanking on something, or you feel like you're going and going and you can't stop because you're just so anxious, it's okay to be like, hey, I'm sorry, this is just kind of how I feel. I don't feel like, I'm sorry, I don't feel like I'm contributing enough to the conversation. And allowing yourself to receive validation from someone and be like, oh no, you're doing fine. Because honestly, they're probably thinking about 100 other things. They're not really thinking too much about you, and that's to your benefit. You know, I think social anxiety is about having the spotlight be put on you and performing, but they didn't buy the ticket to your performance. They're just there. they're already just way in their own head, so you don't have to worry about that.
Some of the ways that I have managed social anxiety in the past are using breathing techniques. I think that in those breathing techniques, it's cool to like have like positive affirmations if you need to, just like even like having like a conversation with yourself, as weird as that could sound, like that has helped me as well, just kind of assuring yourself. From that, you know, like said, I think going to getting support from friends or family and talking to them, or having them like come with you to a social situation or environment, I think that that's something that has been helpful for me as well, just knowing that there's someone else there, and so that you don't feel so alone in the situation is helpful. Another coping mechanism that's helpful is cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. And that's when your therapist will go over whether thoughts that you're having are unrealistic or realistic, or basically saying, like, if you're having negative thoughts, those are unhelpful and those are unrealistic towards situations. So kind of like finding a balance of like over catastrophizing events and recentering yourself and bringing yourself back to a calm state is the goal of that. And I have done that, and also dialectical behavioral therapy.
Hey everyone, thank you for watching the video. If you got anything out of it or you could relate, feel free to comment down below and feel free to like and subscribe.